Brother at times, when goodbye, y'all coming back with these precepts. And yet another cold cut, and of course, all honor and glory to Yahweh. But Shema my shut, one like y'all shy, I touch like the righteous. Get a mighty goodbye, goodbye. That's like quiet by y'all, the word. Right, double honors to the elders of the house of David. Right, that's been laboring, pushing his truth to the four corners of the earth and sincerity. Right, being strong and solid foundation and pillars of 20, 30, 40 plus years in the truth, magnifying the Lord, giving sound counsel, sound exhortation, and being leaders and examples to follow in this truth as well, right? As well as giving a mighty, right, strong salute and shalom, right, white Yabashmi Ashabrakatham to all the mighty occupant highways and byways, right, that labor pushing his truth to the four corners of the earth and sincerity of heart, right, magnifying the name of Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, and doing all elements, right, rain, sleet, hail, snow, right, blizzards, snowstorms, heat waves, making your body a living sacrifice, right, day in and day out, right, for the magnifying of our Lord, Hamashiach, Wamlak Yahushua, right, come, right, into all the mighty Akim, the mighty brothers building themselves out to go out on the highways and byways, right, bid you all, right, a mighty hearty shalom, shalom as well, right, also giving a hearty shalom, right, while Yahbashim Yahshai, Shema to all the Akwaf and his truth, right, married and unmarried, right, honoring your husbands, raising up the children decently and in order, right, cooking, sewing, being submissive, working and giving charity, alms, right, working as a mighty Proverbs 31 woman, right, a mighty Sirach, the 26th chapter woman, a mighty Titus, the second chapter woman as well, and glorifying the Most High, right, through all of thy marvelous works with thy hands, right, to all the mighty Agua, all the sisters, bid your shalom, right, shalom to all the mighty Banyam, the mighty children, right, far and near, honoring your mother and your father, keeping the law, statutes, commandments, okay, right, and also, right, being a light and pillar, right, in, right, this land of darkness, right, to all the Mashapak, the family, far and near, right, bid your shalom, right, shalom to all the brothers and sisters on the coming board as well, tuning in into this live, right, so through the spirit, whereas we are approaching, right, the 7th month, right, going to go into, right, preparing for the 7th month, right, and cleaning out your tabernacles, man, right, because going into, right, the 7th month, extremely spiritual, right, 7 being a number of perfection, right, a number of completion, right, also you have, right, your most high holy days, right, going on, right, in that 7th month, but of course the first day of the 7th month, right, is the memorial blowing of the trumpets, right, followed by your 10th day, right, being that day of atonement, right, and that 15th day, right, being the Feast of Tabernacles, right, also known as the Feast of Booths, man, all right, and these days are extremely serious, right, these days are to be examined thereof, man, right, and these days are for you to be mindful on your works and all the things that the Most High has done for you, man, all right, the Feast of Tabernacles isn't just about men, right, just getting drunk, man, all right, you're sitting by the campfire with your toes out, man, okay, right, just drinking them hen dog all day, man, right, and making marshmallows and s'mores, man, right, just getting drunk and just freaking off, man, right, talking about things, man, of the world. Hey, no, hey, this is a high time, right, and a high spiritual time as well, man. All right, let's kick it off with the book of Ezekiel. All right, Ezekiel chapter 45. All right, Ezekiel chapter 45, and I'm gonna start at verse number 25, and it reads, in the 7th month, in the 15th day of the month, shall he do the like in the feast of the 7 days, according to the sin offering, according to the burnt offering, and according to the meat offering, and according to the oil, right? And we know that we have Yahweh Shai, right, for or as a sin offering, right, but also what, man, right, but according to the burnt offering, right, and according to the meat offering, man, right, right. So brothers and sisters and families, right, households, man, should be bringing forth an offering as well, right, unto the Most High, man, all right, and not just on a physical level, right, but spiritual as well, All right, let's go to the book of First Maccabees. All right, let's go to the book of First Maccabees, chapter 10. All right, First Maccabees 10, and I'm gonna start at verse number 21. It reads, "So in the 7th month of the 160th year, at the Feast of Tabernacles, Jonathan put on the holy robe and gathered together forces and provided much armor." Right? Right, and that's Slocky, and that's Jonathan, man, thereof, man. Right? Say he put on the holy robe, man. Right, which is also spiritual, man. Right? Because coming into this truth, you should be clothed with clean garments, man. And no man should be coming to the feast, right, filled with filth, right? Still having that old, man. Okay. Still having old leaven. Still having old and secret and dark things, man, that you once had, man. All right. It said that Jonathan put on the holy robe and gathered together forces, man. Right. And we are an exceedingly great army, proceeding to Ezekiel, the 37th chapter, man. Right. So meaning what? That many of our people in our nation, man, should be gathering yourselves together. Right. No man should be at home, right, in your bedroom, right, putting up the shower curtains, right, putting up a bed sheet and being a creep. All right. And got the heat turned all the way up, man, and saying that, hey man, hey, I'm keeping the feast, man. Hey, no, hey, gather yourselves together, man. Right, as the Lord had commanded us to do thereof, man. Right, right. Actually, let me also get that as well, man. In the book of Baruch, right, because it said that Jonathan had put on the holy robe, man. Right, meaning that what? That you should be changing your garments, right, and making yourself clean. Okay, let's get that in the book of Baruch, chapter 5, and verse number 2. It reads, "Put off, O Jerusalem, the garment of thy mourning and affliction, and put on the comeliness of the glory that cometh from the Most High forever," man. Right, right, and also, right, during this time, man. Right, it's not the time to meditate upon bills, man. Right, it's not the time to be think of, right, the afflictions of this world. Right, it's not the time to think about madness, man. Okay, right. The Lord said, "Put off, O Jerusalem, the garment of thy mourning and affliction, and put on the comeliness of the glory that cometh from the Most High God," man. Right, meaning what? It's to put on righteousness, man. Right, to clothe yourself, right, with the commandments, to clothe yourself with integrity, right, to clothe yourself, right, with the righteousness and the armor of the Most High. Reading on, it reads verse 2, "Cast about thee a double garment of the righteousness which cometh from the Most High, and set a diadem on thine head," or Slakia, "of the glory of the everlasting, for the Most High will shew thy brightness unto every country under heaven," man, thereof, man. All right? Right, so going into the 7th month, all right? Hey, everyone should have that diadem, right? Have that spiritual meet you, man. Right, meaning that your mind is fully girded, right, towards the Most High God, man. Right, making sure, right, that you cast about you a double garment, man. Right, making sure that you're walking in righteousness, right, that you're clothed, right, with the precepts, man. Right, and girded in the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the Lord. Right, so let's go back to that. We're in the book of First Maccabees and finish that. Right, First Maccabees, chapter 10, and verse number 21. It reads, "So in the 7th month of the 160th year, at the Feast of Tabernacles, Jonathan put on the holy robe and gathered together forces and provided much armor." All right, hey, and you should be thoroughly girded out there, man. Right, especially those that may be going, towards, certain locations. Right, you might You may be out in the woods, right? You may be out in the brothers may be out in the field, open field, right? Brothers may have certain campsites that may be set up, man. Right? The Lord also said what? And providing much armor, man. Right? And not so called right weapons of of flesh, right? Or carnalities, man. Right? But also, right, brothers should be in tune with the spirit, man. All right. Brothers have families. Brothers may do certain activities and certain events, man. Right, but brothers should be armored, right, with the thoughts, right, and with the weaponry that the Most High has given us, man. Right, stand in tune with the precepts, man. Right, going into the law, right, going into prophecies, right, going into the wisdom of the Most High, right, as our forefathers did in time past. All right, let's go to the book of First Ezra. All right, the book of First Ezra, chapter 5, and I'm gonna start at verse number 47. But when the 7th month was at hand, and when the children of Israel were every man in his own place, they came all together with one consent into the open place of the first gate, which is toward the east, man. Right? Right? It said what, man? But when the 7th month was at hand, right? Meaning what? Right? That our forefathers aren't getting ready at the last second, man. Right, that they're foreseeing, right, that the times that we're in, right, they're foreseeing the preparation that's needed, man. Making sure all things are being set up in order, okay, and ensuring that nothing is lacking or slack thereof. Okay, it reads, when the 7th month was at hand, and when the children of Israel were every man in his own place, they came all together with one consent, right? Right, meaning that all men should be of the same mind, right? All men, right, should understand, right, the severity, right, should understand the spiritual aspects, right, should understand everything that's going on, right? All right, not just out, in the wilderness, God forbid, just lost, confused, right? Your kids don't know what's going on, right? Your rib, your household, right, is all out of order, jacked up and jammed up, right? And just lost, man. Right? All men, all families, man, that came to keep the feast, man, they were all of one mind. They were all of one consent, man. Reading on. It reads, and when the children of Israel were every man in his own place, they came all together with one consent and to the open place of the first gate, which is toward the east. Then stood up, right, Joshua, the son of Josedek, and his brethren, the priests, and Zerubbabel, the son of Salathiel, and his brethren, and made ready the altar of the Most High God of Israel, man. Right, so all men, they came together, man, with one mind to make ready the altar, right, of the God of Israel, man. Okay, right, understanding, man, that the Lord, that he requires, right, that which is past, man. Right, the Lord, he requires something of you, man. Right, your works, right, that you put in, right, for the year thereof. Okay, right, understanding that certain men, they may teach, they may do charity, they may do alms, man. But your Lord, but the Most High, he's going to require that at the altar thereof. Right, verse 49, to offer burnt sacrifices upon it, according as it is expressly commanded in the book of Moses, the man of God. And there were gathered unto them out of the other nations of the land, and they erected the altar upon his own place, because all the nations of the land were at enmity with them and oppressed them, and they offered sacrifices according to that time, and burnt offerings to the Lord both morning and evening. Also they held the Feast of Tabernacles, as it is commanded in the law. and offered sacrifices daily as was meet. And after that, the continued oblations and the sacrifice of the Sabbaths and of the new moons and of the holy feasts, right? And all they that made any vow to the Most High began to offer sacrifices to the Most High from the first day of the seventh month, although the temple of the Lord was not yet built. Right? So it reads what? In verse 41, also they held the feast of the tabernacles as it is commanded in the law, and offered sacrifices daily, right? As was meet, man. Right? And what's commanded in the law of Moses. Right? Let's read that in the book of Nehemiah. Right? Right, and it said that what they offered sacrifices daily, man. Right, which means that it's not a one-time thing, right? A one-off, a spin-off, man. Right, I'm a so-called, labor today, and then that's it, man. Right, meaning that what that the altar was continually, right, made fat. Rest the book of Nehemiah, chapter 8, and I'm sorry, verse number 14, and it reads, and they found written in the law which the Lord had commanded Moses, that the children of Israel should dwell in booths in the feast of the seventh month, and that they should publish and proclaim in all their cities and in Jerusalem, saying, go forth unto the mount, and fetch olive branches and pine branches and myrtle branches and palm branches and branches of thick trees to make booths as it is written. Right? Right? And certain men that they go out, they may take physical branches, man. Right? They get so-called physical, timber and things from, right, the trees thereof, right, to build up booths, man, or to build tents thereof, man. All right. Although modern times, right, you so-called, make sure that you have your tent thereof, right? You make sure, right, that you have your booths, right, whether it's for you, whether it's for your family, right, or your household thereof that may be gathered out there together with you, man. Right, but make sure that you have enough, right, space to make provision, right, for you, right, and your household thereof, man. Right, and also your tent, right, or your tabernacle, it's also a reflection of you. Right? Hey, if your tent is, or if a man that has a spirit that's out of order, right, or is lacking, man, a lot of times, or 9 times out of 10, that thing is going to show, right, when you're out there in wilderness, man. Right, and also shows, right, by your tent, man. Right, if you have a tent, it's messy, it's cluttered, man. A lot of times you may have a lot of things that may be out of order or cluttered, right, going on in your spirit as well. And these are also things that to be made sure to be examined thereof. All right, read it on. Right, verse number 16. So the people went forth and brought them and made themselves booths, every one upon the roof of his house, and in their courts, and in the courts of the house of the Most High, and in the street of the water gate, and in the street of the gate of Ephraim, and all the congregation of them that were come again out of the captivity made booths and sat under the booths, for since the days of Joshua the son of Nun until that day had not the children of Israel done so, and there was very great gladness, man. Right? So keeping the Feast of Tabernacles, man, is also a day of great gladness as well, man. Right? It's to rejoice, right, in the works and the increase, right, that the Most High has given you and provided you, throughout the years. Right? Let's go to the book of First Maccabees. All right. Let's go to the book of First Maccabees, chapter 13. All right. And I'm sorry at verse number 47. It reads, so Simon was appeased toward them and fought no more against them, but put them out of the city, and cleansed the houses wherein the idols were, and so entreated into it with songs and thanksgiving. Yea, he put all cleanness out of it, and placed such men there as would keep the law, and made it stronger than it was before, and built therein a dwelling place right for himself, man. Right? Right. So even as you're building up your tents, man, even as you're building up, right, your tabernacles, right, out there in the wilderness, right, your booths, man, right? Hey, you should also be examining and making sure that you're removing all uncleanness from it, man. All right, right, because you don't want to go into, right, Lord forbid, you go into the seventh month, right, you go into the memorial blowing of the trumpets, right, then you go into the Day of Atonement, man, right, and you treat it just like a another fast, man, right? You just treat these days, man, and months and high holy days, man, right, as just something on the so-called checklist, man, right? Hey, as a time to just feast and get drunk, right, and just be a niggard, man, right? Hey, take the time to examine and to remove all uncleanness, man, right? To move things that are defiled, right? And these are spirits, man, right? Making sure, right, that going into that Day of Atonement, man, right, that you are removing all gal, man, right, that you're removing all evil spirits, man, okay, and don't wait thereof until the Day of Atonement, man, right? Hey, be sincere. Hey, take the time now, right, to examine yourself, right, right. Do I have an angry demon, right? Do I have a lust demon, right? Do I have a slothful demon, man? Right, right. Do you have a so-called damn uh wicked eye demon, man? All right, right. It's where you get them coveting men's wives and lives, man. Hey, make sure that all of these foul spirits, man, are purged out right before that Day of Atonement, right? Lord forbid, right? You come out the Day of Atonement, right? You come out that 10th day, right, and then going into, right, the Feast of Tabernacles, man. All that leaven just kind of spills back out, man. All right, just like you got certain children, they may put all the so-called dirt, right, all the so-called trash, they pile it up in one corner, man. Right, but say that, well, the whole room is clean, man. Right, it's so-called swept up, it's nice, but you still have that leaven that that's left over, man. Right, you still have those wicked spirits, those wicked thoughts, those wicked demons, man. That's still plagued up in that corner, man. Right, make sure all of that is purged out and cleansed, right, out of your vessel thereof. Right, approaching the Feast of Tabernacles. Right, I'm gonna read that again. Right, First Maccabees chapter 13 and verse 147. So Simon was appeased toward them and fought no more against them, but put them out of the city and cleansed the houses wherein the idols were. Right, right, because a certain men have secret idols. Right, certain men have secret gods, man. Right, that's still hidden, man. Okay, let's get that in the book of Genesis. Right, it's the book of Genesis, chapter 31, and verse number 30. It reads, "And now though thou wouldest needs be gone, because thou sore longest after thy father's house, yet wherefore hast thou stolen my gods?" And Jacob answered and said to Laban, "Because I was afraid, for I said, peradventure thou wouldest take by force thy daughters from me. With whomsoever thou findest thy gods, let him not live before our brethren. Discern thou what is thine with me, and take it to thee. For Jacob knew not that Rachel had stolen them, and Laban went unto Jacob's tent, and into Leah's tent, and into the two maidservants' tents, but he found them not. Then went he out of Leah's tent and entered into Rachel's tent. Now Rachel had taken the images and put them in the camel's furniture, and sat upon them, and Laban searched all the tent, but found them not. Right? Right? So you don't want to be sitting upon idols, man. All right? You don't want to have hidden loving, right? Hidden hatred towards your brother, man. Right? You got hidden envy, you got hidden strife, right? You got hidden so-called agendas, man. Right? Hidden secret counsels, man. Right? Just hidden wickedness and hidden leaven, man. Right? Just hidden underneath you and inside of your tent, man. All right? A twofold, on a physical level, Lord forbid, right? And also on a spiritual level, right? Right? You're hiding certain sins, man. Right? And certain things that you so-called put upon the back burner thereof, man. Right? And certain things that you still didn't repent for it, man. Right? Hey, if you're struggling with something, say something, man. If you're going through something, say something, man. Right? There's plenty of brothers, plenty of sisters that will reach out, that will fast with you, man. Pray with you, man. Pray for you, man. Right? Help build you up. Okay. Right? Right. Verse number 35. And it reads, and she said to her father, let it not displease my lord, that I cannot rise up before thee, for the custom of women is upon me. And he searched, but found not the images. And Jacob was wroth, and chode with Laban. And Jacob answered and said to Laban, what is my trespass? What is my sin, that thou hast so hotly pursued? It's like a pursued after me, huh? Right? Whereas thou hast searched all my stuff, what hast thou found of all thy household stuff? Set it here before my brethren and thy brethren, that they may judge betwixt, it's like betwixt us both, man. Right? Hey, and that could make a brother hot, man. All right? That could put a spirit on someone, man. Right? A bringing in a certain leaven, bringing in certain folly, man. Bringing in strange gods thereof, man. All right? And just bringing in all that impurity, man, upon the Lord's day, man. Okay? And certain things that may be hidden thereof, those things, they get revealed, man. Right? As the Lord, as brothers say, man. Right? The cream, right, rises right to the top thereof, man. All right? Let's go to the book of Joshua. All right? Let's go to the book of Joshua. Chapter 7. All right? Joshua. Chapter 7 and verse number 19. And it reads, and Joshua said unto Achan, my son, give, I pray thee, glory to the Lord God of Israel, and make confession unto him, and tell me now what thou hast done, hide it not from me. And Achan answered Joshua and said, indeed, I have sinned against the Lord God of Israel, and thus have I done. When I saw among the spoils a goodly Babylonian garment, and 200 shekels of silver, and a wedge of gold of 50 shekels weight, then I coveted them, and took them, and behold, they are hid in the earth, in the midst of my tent, and the silver under it. So Joshua sent messengers, and they ran unto the tent, and behold, it was hid in his tent, and the silver under it. And they took them out of the midst of the tent and brought them unto Joshua and unto all it of the children of Israel, and laid them out before the Lord. Right? And that can also bring a great evil upon brothers, man. Right? And bring evil upon the body as well, man. Right? Because certain things, man, right? Certain sins that brothers may do, man. Hey, these things, right? They affect the body thereof. Let me get that quick precept in 1 Corinthians, man. Right? Because we are all one body, man. All right? Let's get that in 1 Corinthians chapter 12 and verse. I'm gonna start at verse number 22. It reads, "Nay, much more those members of the body which seem to be more feeble are necessary, and those members of the body which we think to be less honorable, upon these we bestow more abundant honor, and our comely parts have more abundant comeliness, for our comely parts have no need. For the Most High have tempered the body together, having given more abundant honor to that part which lacketh, that there should be no schism in the body, but that the members should have the same care, right? One for another, man. Right? So the Most High, right? He brought us all together, right? To be as one body, right? That there is no schisms, man. Okay, right? A man that doesn't have, right, a pinky toe, man, right? Right? They say your pinky toe, right, and your big toe, man. Hey, these things help with your equilibrium, man. Right? If you miss one, right, then it's gonna offset and alter your so-called balance thereof, man. Right? If you're missing a one eye, right, you lose your so-called at least half your vision thereof, man. Right? If you're missing, right, so-called half an ear, right, it affects your hearing, right, at a higher rate, man. Right? And they also say certain things as when men go blind or men go deaf, it heightens other senses, man. Right? Meaning that other operations have to work harder, right, thereof in the body, man. Why? Because one part is lacking thereof, man. Which is why the Lord, he created all things, right, with a just and perfect balance, man. Right? Imagine having just one leg all day, man. Right? One arm, man. Hey, men would get damn tired, man. Right? But no, but the Lord, he gave you a pair, right, or a match, or certain things to help offset or to help balance you thereof. Right? Verse number 26, it reads, "And whether one member suffer, all the members suffer with it, or one member be honored, all the members rejoice with it. Now ye are the body of Mashiach, and the members in particular." Huh? Right? Right? So when the Lord gives glory, man, right, to one part of the body, man, right? Hey, the whole entire body, man, is glorified, man, and magnified. Right? But when one part, man, catches hell, man, right, the whole body catches hell, man. Okay? Right? If one brother, right, brings forth death, or he's bringing forth sin, or he's bringing forth a plague, that can affect the whole entire body, man. Okay? Right? So those things, man, which need to be removed thereof, man. Okay? Right? Those hidden idols, man. Right? That hidden wickedness and folly. All of that has to be cast out, right, and purged out thereof, man. All right? So let's go back to that in the book of Joshua, right, the 7th chapter. Okay? Joshua chapter 7, and start at verse number 24. "And Joshua and all Israel with him took Achan, the son of Zerah, and the silver, and the garment, and the wedge of gold, and his sons, and his daughters, and his oxen, and his asses, and his sheep, and his tent, and all that he had, And they brought them unto the valley of Achor. And Joshua said, Why hast thou troubled us? The Lord shall trouble thee this day. And all Israel stoned him with stones, and they burned them with fire after they had stoned them with stones, man. Right? Hey, and that's deep, man. Right? The Lord said that they stoned them with stones and they had burned them with fire, man. Right after they had stoned them, man. Right? Because fire, right, is a form of personal impurities, man. All right. That's why the Lord said, "What I will try you as gold is try in the fire, man." Okay, a gold, and these different metals thereof, they have to go through a process of being refined thereof, man. Right. That's why one fast isn't just right going to do it, man. Right. You gotta fast it all year, but you just think that going into right the Day of Atonement, man. Right. That's the end all be all, man. You have to thoroughly cleanse, thoroughly purge yourself, man, right, throughout the year, man. And chiefly, man, and make sure that you're cleansing, man, and purging yourself. Make sure there's no defilement upon your works. Okay, right before, right, you approach, man, right, and go into right these high holy days, man. All right, let's go to the book of Sirach. All right, let's go to the book of Sirach. Sirach, chapter 40 and verse. I'm sorry, at verse number 15. Right, Sirach 40 and verse number 15. It reads, the children of the ungodly shall not bring forth many branches, but are as unclean roots upon a rock. The weed growing upon every water and bank of a river shall be pulled up before all grass, man. Right, man? And that's deep, man. Right, because the Lord said that the children of the ungodly shall not bring forth many branches, but are as unclean roots upon a rock, man. All right, and we know certain things like moss, right, mold, sea moss, man. Right, these things are defiled, man, and these things are particular to an unclean man. All right, and the Lord said that what, that ye are as lively stones. All right, let's get that in the book of First Peter. Understand? All right, let's get that in the book of First Peter. Right, chapter 2, and let's start at verse number 5. Actually, let's start at verse number 4. Right, to whom coming as unto a living stone, disallowed indeed of men, but chosen of the Most High and precious, man. Right, and yet Yahweh Shai, he is that living stone, man. Right, because Yahweh Shai, he is everlasting life, man. Right, the door and the way thereof, proceeding to the book of John thereof. Right, and the true vine. Right, proceeding to John the 10th chapter, 1 on down. Right, proceeding to John the 15th chapter, right, 1 on down. Okay. Right, verse number 5, it reads, ye also as lively stones are built up a spiritual house and holy priesthood to offer up spiritual sacrifices acceptable unto Yahweh by Yahushua HaMashiach, man. All right. And the Lord said that what? That we are as lively stones, man. Okay. Right. And you can't build an altar thereof, man. Right. You can't build up, right, the temple thereof with the foul stones, man. Right. It says ye also as lively stones are built up a spiritual house, man. Right. If you have a stone, right, that's filled with death, man. Right, that's filled with mold, man, or mildew, or leprosy, right, as it calls it in therefore in the law, man. And you have to tear that thing down, man. You have to destroy and scrape the whole entire building, right? That's why it says that in Sirach, right, 40 and verse number 15, the children of the ungodly shall not bring forth many branches, but are as unclean roots upon a hard rock. The weed growing upon every water and bank of a river shall be pulled up before all grass, man. Right? The same way that these things, right, and time are to be pulled up, man, are to be cast away, right, to be burned, right, to be destroyed, man. Right? That's the same way that these men, the men of the ungodly, man, are to be cast out, are to be removed. Actually, let's get that in the law. All right, let's get that in the law. All right, Leviticus chapter 14. All right, go. Leviticus chapter 14 and verse, I'll say at verse number 39. Right. Actually, I'll start in verse number 35 and jump straight down to get to the point. Right. Leviticus 14 and verse number 35. It reads, actually, I'll start at verse number 34. It reads, when ye become into the land of Canaan, which I give to you for a possession, and I put the plague of leprosy in a house of the land of your possession, and he that owneth the house shall come and tell the priest, saying, it seemeth to me there is as it were a plague in the house, man. Then the priest shall command that they empty the house before the priest go into it to see the plague, that all that is in the house be made, slaughter be not made unclean, and afterward the priest shall go in and see the house, man. Right, and that's also spiritual, man. Right, because Yahweh he also is a high priest, man, thereof, man. Okay. Right, and it says that what? It reads, I give to you for a possession, and I put the plague of leprosy in the house of the land of your possession, man. Right, and that's spiritual. Right, it's symbolic for demons, man. Right, symbolic for certain spirits, man. Right, because you are a vessel, man. Right, you are built up as a house, man. You are built up as a tabernacle thereof, man. Right, and certain men, they may have a plague of leprosy, man. Right, which is what that mold, right, that so-called mildew, man. Right, those so-called dark spots, right, that you may see at the bottom, man. Right, it may start as so-called greenish or reddish, right, yellowish, man. Right, but once it grows and it gets to that black mold, it's deadly, man. Right, everything has to be cut out. Right, everything has to be stripped out, taken out, and destroyed, man. All right, and certain things require more work than others, man. Right, certain things require, right, a so-called chemical treatment, right, on a physical level, man. Right, and certain things could kind of be, right, either just cut out or scraped out or getting rid of, man. Right, certain things may require repentance. Right, certain things may require you to fast, man. Certain things may require for you to fast many days. Certain things may require you to fast, seek counsel, get help, and have other things and burdens that may be put upon you, man, to help expel or repel certain things or certain behaviors, certain demons or certain things that may have cleaved on unto you, man. All right, certain things require more work than others, man. Right, but you have Yahweh, right, who is as a priest, right, to examine and to remove these things and to cleanse these things, right, out of your house, right, out of your temple, man, thereof. Proceeding the First Corinthians, the third chapter, 16 on down. Understand? Right, read it on. It reads, and he that owneth the house shall come and tell the priest, saying, it seemeth to me that it as it were a plague in the house, man. Right, and men should beseech the Most High, right? And men should beseech counsel, right? Right, when you feel right that I haven't read in XYZ, man. Right, I've been fasted, I've been prayed, I haven't done these things, man, and so long, huh? Right, to beseech men of counsel, right? Right, to beseech, right, our high priest, which is Yahushua himself, man, right? Right, seek a discernment, man, thereof, right, to understand, right, that you have a leprosy, man, right, that you have a certain spirit that may be on you that's hindering you, right, from growing or further in this truth, man, right, which could either destroy you, right, or to destroy the whole entire body, man. Because again, a mold spreads, man, right? It doesn't just stay in that one so-called tiny area and just doesn't go anywhere, man, right? Right, again, touching on so-called black mold, it starts with getting inside the walls, right? Then it's getting inside the air ducts, right? And then from the air ducts, man, it's consuming the whole entire house, man, right? Right, and which, well, we're not going to get into the whole thing, man, thereof, man, right? Although if it does get to that phase, man, right, so where it's no recovering, or it's no return, man, right, then the whole house, man, has to be destroyed and shut up thereof, man, right, which happens to a lot of men in this truth, man, who don't examine and don't foresee the evil, man, right, and don't but think of the spiritual aspect, man, of these days thereof, man, right, that don't examine things that may be affecting, right, the test thereof, man, right, before it's too late and you're utterly cast down, you're utterly shut up, right, to where the Lord isn't dealing with you anymore, right, right, to where the only way you can be purged is through fire, right. Understand? All right. So let's jump down to verse, right, to verse number 37, and it reads. Actually, we could read on, right, verse 36. It reads, "Then the priest shall command that they empty the house before the priests go into it to see the plague, that all that is in the house be not made unclean. And afterward the priest shall go in to see the house." Huh? Right? Right, and why does it say that all that is in the house be not made unclean? Huh? Right, because through, right, men hoarding sins, right, through you hoarding that uncleanness, man, hey, that can spread upon, right, all of your works that you have, man, right, to where everything, right, that's now in your vessel, right, through you not examining, right, through you not asking for help, right, through you not doing works to make sure, right, to set all things up in order, man, right now everything is defiled, right now everything is unclean, man, right now you're so-called damn half holy, half God knows what that you claim to be in the world thereof, man. Understand? Read it on. It reads, "And he shall look on the plague, and behold, if the plague be in the walls of the house with hollow streaks, greenish or reddish, which in sight are lower than the wall, then the priest shall go out of the house of the door of the house and shut up the house 7 days. And the priest shall come again the 7th day, and shall look, and behold, if the plague be spread in the walls of the house, then the priest shall command that they take away the stones in which the plague is, and they shall cast them into an unclean place without the city thereof," man. Right, and that's spiritual, man. Right, because you may ask for something, man. You may beseech the Lord, man, to heal you, to cleanse you of certain things. But what? But the Lord, he may come back, man. Right, certain things may be examined, may be put on the forefront, man, and the Lord will come back in 7 days, man. Okay, right, and 7 days isn't always a literal, man. Right, on a spiritual sense, man. Right, that's complete or set time, right, where the Lord will come, right, examine those things, man, right, based upon, right, your sincerity thereof, man, right, and remove those plagues, right, and diseases, man, far from you thereof, man, right, that way you may be cleansed, man, right, that way you may be holy, man, okay, but certain men, okay, bro, who may be too far gone, right, to where it's blackish, man, right, to where it's it's no hope looking, man, thereof, man, right? That let the whole entire vessel, right, intent, right, be spoiled, right, through philosophies, pain, deceit, right, right, through all matters of uncleanness, man, defilement, man. Hey, those men, hey, they go back in the world, man, right? Those men, they outgrow the truth thereof, man, right? Those men are now doing God knows what, huh? And evils and following things after their own flesh and seek of those things which are right in within their own minds, man, thereof. All right, which is why these things must be cast out, right? Right before, right, the Lord comes up and shuts those things up, man. Right now, let's go to the book of Exodus. All right, touch back on this feast day real fast. All right, come. Right, so the lesson is again cleaning out your tents, right, and also preparing for the seventh month, man, which is highly important, right? The book of Exodus, chapter 23, and verse number 14. It reads 3 times, "Thou shalt keep a feast unto me in the year. Thou shalt keep the feast of unleavened bread. Thou shalt eat unleavened bread 7 days, as I commanded thee, in the time appointed of the month Abib. For in it thou camest out from Egypt, and none shall appear before me empty. In the feast of harvest, the first fruits of thy labors which thou hast sown in the field, and the feast of ingathering, which is in the end of the year, when thou hast gathered in thy labors out of the field, 3 times in a year, all thy males shall appear before the Lord God, man. Right? Right. So we're commanded, man, to appear before the Most High God, man. 3 times a year. And the Lord said, what? That thou shalt not appear before me empty, man. And that's spiritual, man. Okay? Right? Going into, right, that new year, man. Okay? That first month, right? The Lord has what? Right? The feast of unleavened bread and Passover. Right, and which you should be purging yourself thoroughly, right? Right, making yourself a new lump. Right, the Lord is giving you, right, the Lord has given many of us, man, a new year. Okay, right, has given us a renewal, right, through the Spirit, man. Right, to start off fresh, right, to start off with a clean slate, man. Okay, right, you got the Day of Atonement thereof as well, right, and then right, you got the first month, right, the month of Abib, right, in which the Lord gives us right chances, right, to be refreshed, to be renewed, man, right, to be a new man, okay, right, and to set path, right, and to set your hand right or right, man, right, to doing good works thereof, okay, right, going into what, right, the Feast of Weeks, right, Pentecost, man. All right, and which during those times, right, men are planting seeds, man, right, things are growing, right, you're bringing forth work into fruition, okay, right, because during the winter time, what, everything is dead, the ground is frozen and hard, man, and nothing is growing thereof, man, right, but during these times, what, men are planting seeds, man. Let's get that in the book of Ruth, right, things are coming back to life and being lively back upon the earth. Well, let's go to the book of Ruth. All right. Ruth, chapter 2, and verse, let me see. Ruth, chapter 2, and verse number 23. And it reads, "So she kept fast by the maidens of Boaz to glean unto the end of barley harvest and of wheat harvest, and dwelt with her mother-in-law." Huh? Right? Yeah, barley harvest is going into what? Your so-called springtime, huh? Right? And which, right, goes back, right, to that month of Abib, huh? Right, which goes back, right, to that barley, right, or the green ear. Okay? And going into what? Right? It reads the end of barley harvest and of wheat harvest, man. Right? Meaning what, man? right? That men should be planted, man. Right, men should be growing. Right, men should be bringing forth increase, man. Right, meaning that what you shouldn't be the same that at the same level that you were last year. You shouldn't be so called stagnant, right, to where you were in times past, man. Right, you should be growing, right, building, bringing forth more fruit, right, bringing forth more wisdom, more knowledge, more understanding, doing more teaching, right, doing more labor, and doing and bringing forth, right, more things abundantly, man. Right, right, because the what you brought in so called last year is gone already, man. Right, right, the so called on the on the carnal level, man, the so called groceries that you got 7 months ago, hey, those things are ate up already, man. Right? How much more applying that to the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, man? Right? How much more going into your works, right? That you brought in, right, from the time of the first month, right, until this time now, man. Right? Going into this seventh month, man. All right? Just because you gave alms 7 years ago doesn't mean anything, man. All right? What about your brother now, right? That's struggling, man. All right? What about the widows, man? What about the poor, right? What about those that are still out in the cold, man? Right? What about those that have no shelter, no food, man? Okay. Hey, those works, right, still need to be made manifest, right, even now, man. What about the sheep that still need to be fed, man? Which is why it's important to go into do the work, right? Which is why it's important to teach, man. Right? No man is just gonna go at the camp one time, right? Shake the hand, and then that's it, man. Right? That's the end all be all, man. Right? No, the Lord said that in the book of Matthew, right? 22:9 on down, right? Luke 14:23 on down, man. Right? To what? To go out to the highways, right? The highways, byways, and hedges, man. Right? That my house, what, may be filled. Right? Going out one time or doing something one time, it's not going to fill the house of the Lord, man. Right? Planting one seed, right, forever ago, man, right, that you didn't forget about, right? That's not going to bring forth any increase thereof, man. Right? Let's go to the book of Second Kings. Let's go to the book of Second Kings. Second Kings, real fast. Second Kings, chapter 19. And I'm sorry, at verse number 28. And it reads, because thy rage against me and thy tumult is come up, and to mine ears, therefore I will put my hook in thy nose, and my bridle in thy lips, and I will turn thee back by the way by which thou camest. And this shall be a sign unto thee. Ye shall eat this year such things as grow of themselves, and in the second year that which springeth of the same, and in the third year sow ye and reap, and plant vineyards, and eat the fruits thereof, and the remnant that is escaped of the house of Judah shall yet again take root downward and bear fruit upward. Man. All right. Right. So it says, in the third year, sow ye and reap and plant vineyards and eat the fruits thereof. Man. Right. You can't eat or you can't reap any benefits of the harvest thereof, man, if you aren't planting, right? If you aren't sowing, right? If you aren't going out early, right? Tilling and breaking up the hard ground, man. Okay, making sure that things are prepared to be built up in due season, man. Right? If you aren't laboring to bring forward work abundantly thereof, man. Right? Let's go back to the book of Exodus, right? Real fast again to touch on the law, man. Right? Because these things are what to be brought in at the end of the year, right? We're going into the Feast of Tabernacles, man. right? What work, what benefits, right? What things have you done, right, in the slocket during the whole entire year, man, right? That you can reap as a reward or benefit thereof, man, right? That the Lord has provided you. It's the book of Exodus, chapter 34, and verse number 20, right? And it reads, actually, slock. I'm gonna jump on to verse number 22 and get straight to the point, right? Actually, I'll read verse 20. It reads, "But the firstling of an ass thou shalt redeem with a lamb, and if thou redeem him not, then shalt thou break his neck. All the firstborn of thy sons thou shalt redeem, and none shall appear before me empty. 6 days shalt thou work, but on the seventh day thou shalt rest. In earning time and in harvest thou shalt rest, and thou shalt observe the feast of weeks of the first fruits of wheat harvest, and the years, slakia, and the feast of ingathering at the year's end." Huh? Right. So the end gathering is made for what? At the year's end. Right. So if you haven't done anything all year, huh? Right, then you're going to starve during the winter time, right? Right. Right. So you got time from the beginning of the year, man, right, to plant seeds, man, thereof, man. Okay. Right. During the barley harvest. Okay. Make sure that your crops are being sprout up and things are being ready to be taken and bundled and busheled up, right, during the wheat harvest, man. Okay. And then during what, huh? Right, during the Feast of Tabernacles, right, going into the year's end. Right now is the time of end gathering, huh? Right, for you to gather up and to collect and to reap the fruits of all your labors, right, that you put in thereof, man. Right, so if men aren't studying, right, if men aren't doing the work, right, then you're going to get caught up out there, man. Right? The Lord has nothing to do, right, with a slothful man. Right? The Lord has nothing to do with a man that doesn't want to work, that doesn't want to labor, man. Right? That doesn't want to truly, right, serve him in this thing, man. Right? Because verse number 23, the Lord said what? "Thrice in the year shall all your men children appear before the Lord God, the God of Israel." Huh? All right. And the Lord also said what? That ye shall not appear before him empty. Huh? All right. Let's go to the book of Second Chronicles. I'm gonna get one or two more, and settle down with the spread. All right. It's the book of Second Chronicles, chapter 31, and verse number 3. And it reads, "He appointed also the king's portion of his substance of the burnt offerings, to wit, for morning and evening, burnt offerings, and the burnt offerings for the Sabbaths, and for the new moons, and for the set feast, as it is written in the law of the Lord. Moreover, he commanded the people that dwelt in Jerusalem to give the portion of the priests and the Levites, that they might be encouraged in the law of the Lord. And as soon as the commandment came abroad, the children of Israel brought in abundance the first fruits of corn, wine, and oil, and honey, and all the increase of the field, and the tithe of all things brought they in abundantly. And concerning the children of Israel and Judah that dwelt in the cities of Judah, they also brought in tithe of oxen, sheep, and the tithe of holy things, which were consecrated unto the Lord their God, and laid them in heaps." Huh? Right? Hey, and when you lay thing in heaps, man, right, or lamb by sheaves, right, you bring the things into bundles, right, or by bushes thereof, man. Right? Right? Meaning what? That these things were brought forth, right, in abundance, man. Right? And spiritually, man, right? A family should be bringing in things, right, by abundance, man. Right? The Lord, right, through the record and hands of the angels, man, it should record a large amount of works, man. And don't wait for the day appearing, huh? Right, to give towards the poor, man. Don't wait until a brother is putting you in a headlock, man, and press you out, man, to go get alms, right? To go do charity, man, right? Don't wait until someone has to force you or press you out or get on you to make a sacrifice thereof, man, right? Right, to make sure that you're willingly performing and you're bringing these things upon the altar, man. Right? Physically, brothers may bring in, right, a corn, wine, right, oil, honey, man, thereof, man. Oxen and things, lamb and things for the feast day, right, on a physical aspect, right, lay things up so that things could be done, extremely mighty thereof, right, through the spirit, man. Right, but how much more on a spiritual level, man? Right, building yourself up with wine, man. Right, meaning what? The understanding of the doctrine, right? Oil, right? Having the understanding, right, of the Most High, man, right? To be able to go into the precepts and to shew wisdom thereof, and to be able to teach many men thereof, man. Right, having the honey, right, the corn, man, right, the sweet understanding, right, of the scriptures as well, man. Right, the oil, right, the blessings of the talents and gifts, right, that the Most High has given you, man. Right, proceeding to Sirach, right, the 40th chapter and 22nd verse on down, man. Right, how much more, right, increasing and bringing forth, right, turning that 1 pound, right, that the Lord have given you, man, into 10 pounds thereof, man. Right, verse number 7. It reads, in the 3rd month, they began to lay the foundation of the heaps and finish them in the 7th month, man. Right, again, man. Right, going into, right, how everything all leads up into the end gathering, man. Right, which is spiritual, man. Right, the 3rd month. Right, and what's going on during the 3rd month, man? The wheat harvest, man. Right, the Feast of Weeks. Right, Pentecost, man. Right, breaking up the ground, right, during that time of winter, okay, right, planting seeds and getting ready for seed time, right, during the springtime, right, okay, reaping the increase thereof and benefits, right, during that wheat harvest, right, and then reaping the whole entire your entire rewards, man, right, during that end gathering, man, right, because these days are extremely spiritual, man. Right, and chiefly, right, dealing with, right, our people, right, they're extremely agricultural, man. Right, understanding thereof, man. Right, so make sure that these things are prepared thereof, right, going into the 7th month, right. Make sure, right, that you're preparing and you're laying up your works, right, that you can receive the increase and receive the benefits and blessings, right, of the Most High, right, during the time of the end season, man. Right, I'm gonna get one more close out. Sorry, right? Chapter 35. Just to let me back off this, man. All right, sorry, right? Chapter 35 and verse. Right, in verse number 1, it reads, he that keepeth the law bringeth offerings enough. He that taketh heed to the commandment offereth a peace offering, huh? Right, so even keeping the laws, the statutes, the commandments, man. Right, taking heed, okay. Right, being diligent, man. Right, being and stand in order thereof, okay. Keeping discipline, right, and integrity, which is the word I was looking for, man. These things are all offered as a peace offering unto the Most High, right, on the spiritual level. By verse 2, he that requireth a good turn offereth fine flour, and he that giveth alms sacrificeth praise, man. Right, so even giving alms, charity, man, thereof, man. These things are as a sacrifice, right, and presentable upon the altar thereof as well. Right, it reads, to depart from wickedness is a good thing, pleasing to the Lord, and to forsake unrighteousness is a propitiation. Thou shalt not appear before the Lord. It's like it. Thou shalt not appear empty before the Lord, man. Right? Right. So keep yourself from wickedness, man. Right? Made as a sin offering thereof. Okay. Right? Giving alms and charity. Right? These things are as sacrifices thereof with fine flour. Right? As you have heave and wave offerings, man, peace offerings, free will offerings, man. It's manifold offerings that you can bring forth towards the Most High, man. Right? On a spiritual level, man. And these are all what? Manifested through your works. Understand? Verse number 5, it reads, for all of these things are to be done because of the commandment. The offering of the righteous maketh the altar fat, and the sweet savor thereof is before the Most High. The sacrifice of a just man is acceptable, and the memorial thereof shall never be forgotten. Right? Give the Lord his honor with a good eye, and diminish not the first fruits of thine hands, man. Right? Right. So as we approach these 7 months, man, understand, right? Make sure, right, that you diminish not the first fruits of your hands, man. Right? Make sure that you understand your works, man, right, that you do with your hands, right? As your feet, are your walk in its truth thereof, man. Okay. Right. Make sure your path, your works are all guided, man, to doing the righteous works, right, of the Most High God, WATCHMEN shot. Right. So I'm gonna get one more precept real fast, right through the spirit just came to me. Right. Let's go to the book of Second Chronicles. Look at Second Chronicles 7. Real fast. Second Chronicles, chapter 7. Yep, Second Chronicles, chapter 7. And I'm gonna start at verse. Number 4. It reads, then the king and all the people offered sacrifice before the Lord. And King Solomon offered a sacrifice of 22,000 oxen and 120,000 sheep. So the king and all the people dedicated the house of the Most High, and the priests waited on their offices. The Levites also with instruments of music of the Lord, which David the king had made to praise the Lord, because his mercy endureth forever. When David praised by their ministry, and their priests sounded trumpets before them, and all Israel stood. Moreover, Solomon hollowed the middle court. Slack. All right, live got cut off, but we back. All right, Second Chronicles, chapter 7, and verse number 6. It reads, and the priests waited on their offices, and the Levites also with instruments of music of the Lord, which David the king had made the praise of the Lord, because his mercy endureth forever. When David praised by their ministry, and the priests sounded trumpets before them, and all Israel stood. Moreover, Solomon hollowed the middle of the court that was before the house of the Lord. For there he offered burnt offerings and the fat of the peace offerings, because the brazen altar which Solomon had made was not able. Right? Read that again. Because the brazen altar which Solomon had made was not able to receive the burnt offerings and the meat offerings and the fat, man. Right? So brothers, right, sisters, families, households, man, should be bringing in, right, a offerings abundantly, man. Should be doing works in great abundance, man. Right, at a high level, man. Right, to where their altars, right, are filled with so much, man. Right, that it's hard to be contained, man. Right, and there's not enough that we can do, man. Right, in these bodies, man. Right, to offer or to give the Most High, man. Right? Enough, man, to suffice thereof. Right? Which meaning that what? That we should be bringing forth as much work as we can, right? And glorifying the Lord as much as we can while we still have today. Guys, with that, brother Atazwan Gabriel coming back to these precepts. And yet another cold covenant course on the Lord Yahweh. By Hashem, Amashak, I'm like y'all shy. Upper right side, this lesson was extremely edifying. Right until the next time, I'm going to say, Kwame Shalom. All praise, Most High.